I lost my dad, and
Mm,
that was really hard.
mm,
Well, like
mm,
anybody, but I was so scared of my emotions
yes,
because I
yes.
missed him so much, and I still do.
Mm,
But I don't. I'm not scared to think about him
mm.
because I can feel.
Feel that there.
I feel it here. I breathe. I just sit with it, and I think, wow, he's here. It gives me comfort because I'm not thinking about the past or the future. I'm thinking about just him and his love. And to be able to do that is so, well, it's just wonderful for me. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
practicing.
Yeah, I I am, and it's just amazing. I just the conversations I'm having with people, the experiences that I'm having in shops and
Yeah.
people on like on a professional level.
Can you elaborate?
Um, there's a lady called Victoria, and she owns a consultancy,
Okay.
and I've always had good vibes from her. We've only just met on LinkedIn and we've talked and so on.
Mm,
And she came to my college, and we just hit it off. And we were just laughing and joking.
mm.
She was like, "You've got a good energy around you," and I was like, "And you?" And I said, "I went to a retreat," and she went, "Oh my days." And I said, "Yeah." We looked at the ego, and she started smiling, and she
Uh,
went, "In all my time and everybody I've met, no one's ever talked to me about this."
oh wow.
And she was like, "This is amazing." And then we just went from there. Um, it was just like a common ground. And then I was going to a chambers meeting in the later on that day. And who did I bump into? Victoria.
I'm mad.
And we were sort of like, our paths were meant to cross. Or it was just,
We talked about this, didn't we, on the retreat? That as the ego starts to dissolve and you're operating from a higher level of mind,
mm,
and that mind is not isolated to here. It's ultimately connected to the mind from which all things arise. So it
mm,
it, it doesn't surprise me that these kind of things happen. And
yeah,
it's an indication that you're in the flow. Your ego's less and less making your
mm,
decisions, and you're operating from this higher level of mind. And as you do that, you put out an energy, don't you?
yeah. And I thought I was very, I thought I'd always put out good energy, but this is something different. It just happened, and I'm guided. And I've met another lady at another. I do a lot of events in the evening with my work, and I met another lady, and she gave me a hug, and she was like, "I feel like I've known you forever. It's so lovely to meet you." And I was thinking, what am I doing? But I think before I was maybe like this, not so open, just listening.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think people can pretend to be open, can't they?
Yeah.
You can put on an act.
Yeah.
You can even kind of, if you're a good actor, you can manipulate your body language.
Mm,
But what you can't do is hide from the energy that you're projecting.
mm,
Where we're projecting an energy into the field of consciousness all of the time, and ultimately the world that manifests is a reflection of that energetic field. Your energy is shifting,
it
and
is.
it's not it's and as it's emitted from you, through you, it affects those around you, it affects the
Mm,
world around you, particularly if people are sensitive.
yeah.
So it sounds like this lady that you had a connection with. She was particularly sensitive.
Yeah. It's just wonderful experiences I'm having. It's, walking to work, I'm going to say, I always get to the traffic lights and nobody stops on that red light, or the cars go past, and I get angry and I feel like, you know, shaking my fist and just, yeah, you know. And now I get to the light and I know they're going to do it.
Yeah.
So I just stand, just breathe. And the ones that do stop, I wave and say thank you. And I get a wave back. And I thought, well, I've just turned this minute into
yeah.
It sounds silly, but it's the smallest things that make my day.
It's more, and their day.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's a little polite wave is a very different experience to receive than somebody shaking your fist. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when I retire, I'm going to write a book on mindful cycling, the art of cycling
Oh.
mindfully. And mindful cycling involves pulling over and letting people go past. Yeah. Because you really don't want them up your backside. You don't want to feel that irritation when you're out for a night ride on your bike, do you? It
No.
also involves giving people a nice big wave when they give you a wide berth. And if you do that, you watch how people change. The next 5 cars will give you an extra wide berth.
Yeah.
It has the same, much more effective than shaking your fist.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you?
Well, it's what you put back, isn't it?
Yeah.
Out on my bike, and the lady steps out in front of me. I slam the brakes on. I could shout at her, or I could just give her a smile.
Yeah.
She knows she's been silly either way. Yeah.
Yeah. Just get
You're
on.
doing it in a very different way, aren't you?
It is. It is. It's yeah, I'm enjoying whatever's happening. I don't think too much about it. I just my day just takes me where I end up by the end, and it's positive.
Yeah. When did you start this journey? Because we've been to a few events now, haven't you?
It started. Funny enough, he's got in contact with me as well. There's a chap called Michael, and I went to a rainbow camp last summer, and I was thinking, oh no, everybody's going to be, sort of all spiritual, and it's not me. And I went to see him for a tarot reading, and I said, I just want to find myself. And he said, well, you're here. Why are you trying to find yourself? I said, because I'm not me. And he was like, who are you? And I was like, I don't know. It was just this, I'm sounding mad. I don't know what I am, who I am. I'm trying to find something that I don't know. So that was my first sort of, I need to sort of look at myself really. And then I came across yourself on the web, and in December I came to the first retreat, and then I did the 6-week course, and then I've just done the last one.
So you got kind of hooked on this now, haven't you?
I am. Well, why not?
well, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You've been saying not to.
Yeah.
It's interesting that comment by that tarot reader was a sudden burst of awareness there, because people don't arrive at the Now Project lost. They might think they're horribly lost, but there's some awareness that they are lost. That process has already happened. And I'm certainly noticing an acceleration in that. I mean, the kind of shift in awareness that you've had in not even 6 months yet, is it?
Yeah.
It's quite staggering.
It's quite emotional for me because I lost my dad, and that was really hard. Well, like anybody, but I was so scared of my emotions.
Yes.
Because I missed him so much, and I still do. But I'm not scared to think about him, because I can feel
that there.
I feel it here. I breathe. I just sit with it, and I think, wow, he's here. It gives me comfort. because I'm not thinking about the past or the future. I'm thinking about just him and his love. And to be able to do that is so, well, it's just wonderful for me.
Isn't that beautiful?
It is.
What a wonderful parting gift to leave you with that grief.
Yeah.
Because held and processed like that grief is the vehicle for your transformation.
Yeah. And I like to think about Dad. I like to think,
Yes, yes,
I don't sit there and think, what I'm going to think
yes,
about it.
yes, yes.
But, when I do my 10 minutes meditation on the train
Mm,
and everybody's looking on their phone and everybody's looks like they're geared up for the day,
mm.
I'm not comparing or anything like that, but I do my 10 minutes on the train. I never thought I'd do that in front of people, but no one cares. No one notices.
And not even there.
They're not even there. And then I open my eyes and I'm like, wow, it's commentary to Birmingham. There's sights to be seen. And I think, isn't that beautiful? I'm so lucky to be here.
Even with that grief.
Yeah, makes me feel even.
And that's the beauty that
Mm,
we can be okay with even our pain and the
yeah,
darkness and being okay with that brings freedom,
mm.
brings peace.
Not when the first retreat, though, I had to
Mm.
run off. It was horrible. But you and Steve pulled me. Yeah, I think it doesn't come easy, does it?
No, it doesn't come easy. And it's the bravest thing you ever do, isn't it?
Mm,
And that takes the ultimate courage to look at yourself, to look at your own pain
yeah.
and not turn from it.
Mm,
That's that's the ultimate courage.
it is.
Uh, because when we look, we realize that we can deal with it.
Yeah.
There isn't anything there that we can't handle, and it doesn't have to consume us and take over our lives and be projected into the world around us. And
No.
if you can hold it as you're doing, it raises your frequency, it heals, it raises your frequency, and projects more love into the world. And
Yeah.
isn't that a beautiful thing for your dad to leave you with?
Yeah. And realize how terrifying. Like what I think everybody, not everybody, that's wrong. I can't say that, but I see people avoiding their emotion, avoiding situations, and of course that's how we're sort of told to do, isn't it? Just
Mm,
forget about
mm,
it, move on, keep going, and then when you get this time to stop and sort of check yourself in, you're not being selfish. You're just looking after yourself, and I think that's a
mm,
big thing.
it is.
What people
Particularly if
sometimes,
your conditioning has taught you not to.
yeah, a lot of people say to me, "I can't. There's not enough time for me. There's not. I've got to do this. I've got to do that." And yeah, you do. Everyone's got things to do, but if they need to, then everyone needs to
Yeah,
stop.
yeah.
And you can, because you don't all of a sudden think, "Oh, my life's great," and you're skipping down the road. You sort of go through
Uh,
this like sort of
yeah,
steps and
you might spend hours a day messing around with this, mind you.
yeah,
You got 10 minutes to sit listen to the birds, haven't
yeah.
you? If you
Definitely.
haven't, you need to sit for an hour.
That's yeah, very good. I like when he's I've used that a few times.
It's not mine. I think the Buddha's. I stole it from the Buddha. I think.
It was very good
Wow.
though.
Because you work with young people, don't you?
I do, yeah. I
And that's
do.
puts you in an extraordinary, powerful position.
It does. It does. I mean, the young people, I care, I nurture them, the the area that they're in, they don't mostly have role models or
Mm,
and I want to do my best for my students.
mm, mm,
And being positive and being present is very important, because I could have 50 million things going on, and a student used to talk to me, I'd be hearing it, but I wasn't listening to it.
Yeah.
And now they come to me, I'm sort of, whatever's going on, I'm going to listen to what
Mm.
you're saying to me, and I'm going to take it in.
What does it feel like to be on the receiving end of that? I wonder.
Well, again, it's wonderful things, and I sound really, but
Yeah.
the student said to me, um, I'm so pleased that you came to our college. You know, you've done wonderful things for us.
Mm.
And I was so touched. You know, it was just, oh, okay. And you know, I don't like praise. I
Well,
hate
your
people
ego
praising
doesn't.
me. But I realised I come across kind of arrogant by doing that, my behaviour.
No, it's acknowledgement. Presumably that person meant what they were saying, otherwise they wouldn't have said it. So it's an acknowledgement of that person's experience, and it's a statement of the truth. I mean,
Yeah.
how rare for a young person to actually be given that quality of attention, full
Mm,
focused attention like that, unconditional acceptance in that
mm,
space of awareness. And
yeah.
in that space, there's an added depth communication, and that's going to feel good to receive.
It
Yeah,
is. It is.
and that's what they were expressing.
Yeah. It's that ego thing, what we were saying before. I didn't realise what the ego was.
Mm.
You know,
Mm.
everyone thinks big ego and people like that, but when you start looking at your ego, you think, oh,
Mm.
and you're like, okay, you've got to face that,
Yeah.
and it's okay. It's okay. You're realizing it. It's okay. You can't do anything about what's happened, but
No, and
just
you didn't choose those patterns either.
mm,
I think one of the best things about mindfulness for me is that it allows me to be wrong. You know, and the more wrong I realize I am, the better.
it's nice, isn't it? Because you think, oh, it'll be
Oh,
all
well,
right.
because that's liberating, isn't it? I've done that all of my life, but maybe I haven't got to do that this time.
Yeah,
But and it's not always comfortable, is it? What we see, but always liberating.
it is. And I think I said to you before, when we were having our online looking at the
Mm,
ego,
mm,
and I'll be in a board meeting with, you know, the vice principal, the
mm,
principal, all, you know, classified as top people,
mm,
but I am just me. And they were, Trina, you've been great, you've been smashing it. And I just went, oh God, like that. And I thought, I was so horrified that I was like, yeah, okay, thank you. And I thought, I've come now after we had the ego talks, I
mm,
thought, what did that look like?
mm.
You know, I could have just said, and what I do now is, thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Wow.
I've caused it into a drama, and I've come
Yeah,
across really rude.
yeah. There you go. Don't like that.
So now it's like, okay, thank you.
There's quite remarkable things have happened around you too, haven't they? In that
Mm,
last 8 months,
yeah.
your situation was very different in December when you came to see us.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot has changed, a lot of healing and a lot of levels has happened, hasn't it? Yourself
Yeah.
and relationships and such like, and that's a bit of magic been going on there, I think.
It has. It has. And it's just, I think I I don't know. I couldn't pinpoint. I couldn't different stages. You know, I don't go too deep into it,
Mm.
and
No,
I
don't
don't
go
put
deep
pressure on
into it.
myself. I just, because everyone goes, "What's
Mm.
mindfulness? How do you do it?" You know, and how do you do it? And it's sort of go and listen to this 10-minute meditation, and then have to see what you
Mm.
know, and wonderful things, you know, start to happen, and
Mm.
the maddest thing I think I've said, but the best thing I've ever said is when my grandma passed away a couple of months ago. We were down by the field, and I was with my brother where my grandma's house used to be. The old stones were still there in a little village of Wales.
Mm.
And I could see the wind in the trees. And I shouted, I can see the wind, Luke. And he went, what? I said, look at it. Isn't it lovely? And he went, you're really weird. And I thought, no, it's one of the best things I've ever said, actually. You know, to be there.
Mm.
And normally I would have been bawling my eyes out, rolling around on the floor.
So even yes, even something like that, you could see the beauty.
That's what I was getting to. That's
Yeah,
why
yeah,
it
yeah,
was sort of, wow, Green must have
yeah,
loved it
yeah,
here.
yeah,
And I'm
absolutely.
getting to be here.
Yeah. God, tingly all over you.
Yes, yeah, I always, yeah. It's wonderful.
Has it affected your close relationships?
um, well, I got back with my ex-husband.
Yeah, that was quite amazing, wasn't it?
It's pretty amazing, yeah.
Not many people get back with their ex-husbands.
No.
I sense he
um,
did some changing too.
yeah, and he's been on the retreats.
Yes.
Um, and he's started to open up. Um,
Mm.
and we're just so grateful to have each other back in our
Oh,
lives.
wow. Oh, do you know what?
The,
That's
the hurt,
beautiful.
yeah, the hurt and the pain,
Yeah.
but now it's sort of the acceptance.
Yes. Yes. And
Just
it's, the pain's there. That's processing, but that's lovely. What a beautiful thing to be able to do.
mm,
And I think it's wonderful that your husband is practicing too. I've got the shift in him since I saw him last time.
I know,
Whoa, unbelievable.
yeah, he's
Because to be honest with you, I didn't think he got it. I,
no,
s- I saw him a
he
few
just
months
come around
later.
quickly.
He's going, whoa, what's happened to you?
He did. He just come along because
Yeah.
I bought it for his
Yeah,
birthday.
yeah, yeah. You made him.
Yeah, but he's.
Mm,
I think because Andrew's very much a book reader,
yeah,
and it's all in the books,
yeah.
and which I think books are great, but sometimes you've got to have that connection
But isn't he
with
shining?
nature.
Shining like that with a retreat, wasn't he?
He loved
Yeah.
it.
And the healing that's happened between you two is just wow. That's a bit
Yeah,
special, isn't it?
it's amazing. It's a good thing
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
you know, is we did a triathlon yesterday.
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah, together and
Triathlon.
yeah, yeah. It was
Uh,
it was good. It was good to be
yeah,
out,
mm,
and I don't do the hard ones. I just like,
mm.
just doing my thing. Just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's lovely, but
Is there a triathlon that's not hard?
yeah,
Oh, is that
I got
okay?
around it. And just, yeah, and my brother went, "Oh, is that all?"
It's the one you do on a bus.
Yeah, yeah. I got a basket on my
Yeah,
bike, just
yeah,
cycling around the countryside in Stratford.
yeah. You know, that fills my heart with joy when I see mindfulness bringing people together like that, or back together like that, and overcoming ego traits and historic harm, and connecting with the person that you loved in the first place.
It is, and after the retreat, Andrew came back with me on the Sunday,
Yeah,
and we sat for hours talking,
yeah,
and I was I opened up
yeah,
about my egos, but he already knew them.
yeah, yeah,
But I didn't want to. It's embarrassing to say
yeah,
it. But he was like,
yeah,
it's of no surprise. So it was
yeah,
kind of,
yeah.
it's okay.
It is okay.
to have those conversations.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because actually, and you can have them because you haven't got to defend it
Yeah,
anymore. It's not you that's being attacked anymore. It's your ego that's being revealed. Oh God, yeah, I do that. I'm gonna have to stop. I can't guarantee it won't happen again, but I will watch that trait. You haven't got to defend it anymore, have you? Yeah,
no, no, and that's
uh,
the thing. But
yeah,
saying it to somebody, because
yeah.
I want them to see me as perfect. I don't want
Oh,
them
good
to
luck.
see me in a
Okay.
bad light,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
that was my ego. I
yeah,
see people might say something and I see them as criticism, or
yeah, yeah,
but when you have that open conversation,
yeah.
they said that you already knew.
Yeah, he did know. Yeah,
Yeah, you do that.
yeah,
Yeah,
and you know
it's not
his.
like I'm gonna. I thought I was gonna shock him. You
No.
know. No.
And you see his patterns too. You
Mm,
know, and that's where a conscious relationship really comes into each other, into its own,
mm,
because you reveal your patterns to each other. Yeah, and if you can act as a mirror. That becomes not in the heat of the moment, not when the feelings are
yeah.
strong. That's a bad idea. Go for a walk and sort yourself out. But when you're both in a good state and a state to communicate, the clarity that can come out of that is just
Mm,
unbelievable. I mean, I'm lucky. My old lady she just laughs at me.
lovely.
She goes, there we go. Yeah, there he is doing one of his weird things again.
Yeah. And that's nice though. It just
Well, it
like,
is. It can be very much fun but
yeah,
forgiving, can't you? You see, it's people's conditioning.
yeah.
Yeah. I make a sandwich and I spread crumbs all over the house. It's like, well, that's because my mother used to pick up after me. I really shouldn't be doing that, should I? But she can point it out to me without becoming defensive.
Yeah, it's different ways, isn't it? Oh, it's very powerful. It is.
It's not always plain sailing. It's not. There are times when the shadow can come up very, very strongly,
Hmm.
and that's okay. That's the journey.
Yeah.
And I was talking to somebody this morning, a session with somebody. I was saying, no, just this. It's no. Maybe the best we can hope for sometimes is to be okay with our misery. Yeah, which is a
Something
whole lot
beautiful in
better than
that.
being miserable with your misery, isn't
That's, yeah, and
it?
there's something beautiful within that.
Isn't there?
You know,
Yeah,
it's misery is, and I, losing my dad last year and my
yeah.
grandma a few months ago. Um, I don't like wallowing, but when it's beautiful that I can
The feeling's
sit with
here.
it.
That's to be healed, and that's beautiful. It means
Mm,
you're alive. You're a proper, fully functioning human being. And then there's a healing process with that grief, isn't there? Where it
mm.
becomes a problem is when we turn our back on it.
I think that's the
Yeah,
big thing,
yeah,
because I do like a glass of red wine, and
yeah.
I'd only cry when I'd had a bottle of red wine, and I'm thinking this isn't real.
No.
Playing these sad songs, bit Johnny Cash, all this sort of inducing this hurt.
Yeah, yeah. Actuating it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Whereas the loved one you've lost doesn't want that. They want you to heal.
no.
Yeah. Yeah, I think what you said about alcohol is important, is an issue, and pretty much everybody I work with longer term gives up drinking.
Hmm.
Not necessarily because they've ever had a real issue with it, but because you start to see that it does affect your level of consciousness, does affect your state of mind. I mean, I can't confirm this because I haven't had a drink for more than 20 years, so I don't know. I've got to take other people's word for it, but what I understand is that that first glass, there's a deadening of awareness,
Hmm.
and if you're not careful, like you drink a bottle, you're right back in the ego, and it's going to wallow, and it's going to cause as much suffering as it possibly can.
Yeah, just
Uh,
twisting that knife
But,
in.
well, particularly if you've not been going there,
Mm.
You know, if you've been generally pretty present, it will take that opportunity to really do you some damage if it can, because
Yeah.
it's not getting the opportunity to feed. You have to see that with relapses with addicts. You know, it's that just that one bloody drink and the carnage that ensues from that is just staggering, and it's because that's the ego's just had a little window there. It needs to be
Get it
fed.
in. and and that's why, I'm just going to say the retreat helped me with that first time. Even, I ran out and my body was holding all this hurt.
Yeah.
And that's why I think when I had a drink, I thought, oh, because you get a bit floppy, don't you? You sort of lie there and you're, oh yeah, I feel a bit more relaxed. And so it's not real, but on the retreat, it's like we're going to sit here and we're going to do this, and it's just so not painful, but it is. But your body, you can just how tense and how
Yes.
it's not just in your mind, is it? It's your whole body, and that's when you sort of realize the second one. And Andrew felt that as well. That we've been holding a lot of, even though it's been great, we're happy and all this, but the actual cleanse is very powerful.
It is powerful. Yeah.
And better than any bottle of wine you could ever have, because you feel fresh.
And it works.
Not hungover.
And it works.
Yeah.
Whereas the alcohol perpetuates it ultimately. Yeah. Takes a lot of courage though to face it like that. Yeah, it really does. Well, we kind of force you into it on the retreats, but that's the surprises that you can do with it. It's a bit like the monster under your bed when you were a kid, isn't it? The more you think about it, the bigger and scarier it gets. But when you finally pluck up the courage to have a look,
Yeah.
nothing there.
It's that thing again, isn't it? And what did make me laugh on the first retreat, because I suffer with really bad anxiety. Well, to be fair, I don't now.
No.
I think it's always going to be there anyway. But I'd be given different pills and diazepams and all that sort of stuff. And
Yeah.
whenever you say to me, "Is it working?" I'll be like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And he's like, "It's obviously not, because you're still very anxious and you're still very." But I thought it was. But when the first retreat and you said about having conversations with yourself in your head and making up scenarios, that's what I was doing. I was making up scenarios in my head, and I've been really anxious about these scenarios, and they haven't even happened. And I just don't know what's going on. And then I haven't left the house because of these scenarios. And it's like, same again with Michael. I spoke to him and speak to you. When you listen to yourself, you think, I'm not mad.
No.
Stop having conversations in your head that don't exist.
Well, that realization is not madness. That's the first sign of sanity.
That's what I was doing.
Yeah. It's interesting that just happened with a few words that guy said to you. Bang. Yeah.
But and your words, having these conversations in your head and scenarios, it's like that's yeah, why am I doing it? It's not real.
No, God, so long since
And I
I've done
laugh.
that. Forgotten what it's like.
It's so nice just to not think. Or no, or go in that, no, you're not.
So you were a worrier, were you? Anxiety was your thing.
Yeah. Anxiety. I'd have panic attacks. I'd be out, had time off work. I've seen a lot of therapists, different type of therapists. I think it's been going on since I can remember. And when my dad became ill, I had something to focus on and worry about. So I was still on the tablets, but I was functioning because my dad needed me, you know. But now there's it. Sorry, because it's quite emotional. Because
It's okay. They come up. We can breathe through as you sit here. Just sit in the body.
I'm just so happy. I don't know,
Yeah.
not happy, but just what a relief.
Right. Yeah, stay in the body and just to stay there, just rest in the energy field of the body. Ah. I didn't know you could do that before, did you?
I was, I wasn't. It's not the upset because it's just such a relief.
Yeah, yeah.
It's such a relief.
And as you've been sitting with that trauma, you've been freeing the energy trapped in that. And so each time your frequency shifts still further.
Mm.
And the world is very reflecting that back in a very real way, isn't it?
And my family are just so happy. I think they're also relieved.
Mm.
I'm 43 this year, and I think I only found myself a year ago. You know,
And most people never find themselves at all.
you know, they don't. It sounds so over the top, but they say to me, "We don't worry about you."
Yeah. Well, you don't worry about you.
No, that's probably what. Yeah, I was giving them something to worry about. Why they don't? That's good. Yeah.
That's spreading.
That's what. Yeah,
Mindful husband, mindful family. You got a nice little bubble building around you there, haven't you?
yeah,
And you can do some real damage with those kids you're working with, can't you? With modeling what you're presenting into the world, because it does affect them. It's how they
mm,
learn. It's not all about what they read in books. They learn from what you model and how you are and how you respond to things and how you deal with things and how you handle emotions.
yeah.
That's the stuff they don't teach kids, isn't it? That they really, really need to understand, particularly kids with troubles. Yeah.
It's a real shame that there's labels.
Mm.
There is certain types of um, well, it's not certain, but students. You're dyslexic if you can't read and write. So this is what you've got to do. Well, actually, their learning style is just different.
Well, maybe they're bored.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
just work with it. Sort of, it's again listening to the student and
And I think sometimes it's also about allowing the teachers to teach, to be there with their students. Yeah. Um, I had a conversation with a head teacher earlier last week, saying how restricted they are and everything is controlled and there's no room for them to express anymore. It's robotic what's going on, and if the teachers find that distressing, then what effect is that having on the kids?
yeah.
I mean, my son got called to the school about my grandson. And I think he's a bit like his granddad, bless him. But they're having him assessed for ADHD, and when the assessors went in the classroom, they knew he was because he was the only one. He was the one standing on the desk. No,
That's
I get that. I get the 5-year-old standing on the desk. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
What I don't get is the 5-year-old sitting down.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's sometimes, when people react, if the teachers are struggling with it and reacting to that conformity, then what's that going to be like for a 5-year-old? And I think there's sometimes this distress shows itself,
Yeah.
as dysfunction, but it's often it's just a healthier response to a very unhealthy controlling situation. And these kids are creative. They've got, they need to explore, they need to
Mm,
express, and they're being
yeah.
suffocated.
It's a real challenging time at the moment because
Mm,
exams.
mm,
And yes, exams are good for certain careers that the students
mm,
want to go into,
mm.
but it's not for every student. I don't think
No,
exams are, but
no.
some kids thrive, but the
Yeah.
ones that don't, you can see their change. They're, they've come in, the teachers have wanted to, pull their hair out because it's all about that grade, what's going to happen. And some of the students, they shouldn't be put in that scenario because they're just, you can see the change in them. They're sitting there, they're worried, they're coming in to see me, they're hanging around, not hanging around, but they're coming to my desk. They're sort of just wanting a bit of
Mm,
comfort, I suppose, and it will
mm.
be okay. And this, you know, it's very stressful. It's very stressful for because they think if they fail, it's the end of the world.
They don't matter, any of them.
No, I would say to her, I've got no GCSEs, I've got no degree, and I'm a manager at sixth form
The
college.
most successful people I've ever met are uneducated.
Yeah, common sense got me through life, I think.
They found their
But
own way.
it's still, we can see in their face, they're just sort of, what am
Yeah,
I going to do? What am
yeah,
I going to,
yeah,
and I can't say to them, well, it doesn't really matter, but I'm saying, look, there is other options out there. Let's have a look at,
yeah,
and I
yeah,
don't want to overwhelm them. And I'm like, come on, just
yeah. Yes.
bless them.
But you can spread a bit of presence, can't you? And then they may even do well in their exams.
Yeah.
Not that it matters if they don't.
No, no, it's just, yeah, it's
Oh,
good.
they put kids under so much pressure, and they put them under themselves, don't they? This
Mm,
social media stuff. It's oh dear.
yeah. I did it was quite funny actually. I did an art and design day for our art and design students.
Mm,
So I had employers coming in, and it was people that I know.
mm,
And there was a fashion designer, photographer, and they were real people. They
mm.
came in and they were talking, and the students were laughing and joking, and he was saying about you know, their personal journeys, and none of them had gone to university,
No.
and they were all self-taught.
Mm,
And Maurice, who's the fashion designer, said, "Oh, I shouldn't tell you that." And I said, "Well, no, this is the whole point. This is real." And he
mm,
learned to
mm,
sew and so on from his grandmother, and he's got a highly successful business. The students were so engaged. They were listening to the different subjects.
mm,
They loved it. And one of the
mm.
students to me at the end said, "I didn't realize you didn't have to go to university."
No. And I think that scares me about young people. They think they need permission for
Yeah,
everything. They need a certificate or some authority figure to tell them it's okay. And that kills creativity. It kills enterprise. It
yeah,
kills intelligence.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh dear. Anyway, don't get me started on
Oh, sorry.
education.
No, it was nice. It was, and that's how, I just want to give these kids options and they
Well,
can
you're
choose.
giving them presents,
Yeah,
and presence gives you options,
yeah,
because awareness allows you to see the limitations of your education, the limitations of your learning. Uh,
mm,
and that gives you choice. If you're lost in that mindset, you have no choice, because you
yeah,
have to choose within the mindset
yeah,
and reason within the mindset. It's only as you step out and you can see beyond your ego, beyond your conditioning, your learning, do you have any free will?
mm,
Uh, and that's the difference between those people that are successful in whatever they do.
mm,
They are successful because they're operating from outside of the conditioning.
mm.
I think this way technology is going, this chat GPT thing, it doesn't scare me,
No,
because my skills aren't learning. If your whole skill set is based around repeating learning, then you have no future, because
no,
this can do it better and faster and has access to more learning and has greater processing power. But that's not what you are, is it? You are human. You are a
mm,
soul. You have a state of mind beyond your learning, and that's where real intelligence lies.
Yeah.
And if you bring that to your learning, then your learning becomes a very powerful tool. But in the absence of an intelligence beyond it, learning it's inherently destructive and stupid and psychopathic.
Mm.
We have to bring a state of mind beyond that. So ChatGPT doesn't phase me. If I could abdicate the little thinking that I do, then that would be great.
I'm not too sure. It gets bounced around, and I'm just like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. I think sometimes, yeah, but it is good.
Oh,
So,
is there anything you wanted to explore that you wanted to talk about that we haven't explored?
no, I didn't really have any expectations. I just thought,
Excellent. That's ideal, isn't it?
Andrew doesn't know what you've done to me, you guys, on these retreats. He's like,
We haven't done anything.
no, you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. Well, you did it. You're doing the work.
I know, but I used to be quite
Yeah.
highly strung.
Is he pressing the buttons waiting for the reaction?
Yeah, just, you know, I'm enjoying it. So,
Yeah, I'm sure he is too.
yeah.
I'm sure he's got conditioning to look at as well.
Yeah, don't worry. He's like he wants us to sign up again. I think for his journey as well
Yeah,
now
yeah,
because
yeah,
he's something came well, she said something changed with him the last retreat, and
yeah,
he's yeah he wants to come back and explore that.
yeah. Isn't that
Um,
what a beautiful thing to do together?
yeah,
What a beautiful thing to do together. A conscious relationship.
mm,
Oh, you've got a chance, haven't you?
yeah. And people think that'd be scary. You know, well, I've got to tell them what I'm
Yeah.
actually thinking or what I'm actually going
Well,
to, what
the relationship
not thinking.
becomes your spiritual practice, doesn't it?
Mm,
Yeah, you become a reflection of each other.
yeah,
Yeah, sometimes I have to tell my old lady to go and sit with it, and she'll tell me to go and sit with my stuff and point. So if we can catch it early enough, it really helps, doesn't it? You know?
it is.
You can pull up. That needs one of you to be present to save the other one from a lot of distress.
Yeah,
Um,
it's all good.
well, you know what, that's been really awesome. Really lovely interview. We've got some really special stuff there.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you. This is going to be so helpful to people that are starting out on their journey.
Yeah.
It's kind of inspiring to hear it from somebody that's doing it.
Mm,
Yeah,
it's that always stick with me. I've got to find myself.
yeah.
We're
You
here.
have. You're sitting right here.
But when you find yourself, what you're going to do with yourself? I don't know. But it's a big thing, isn't it? At the time, you're sort of like, I've got to go and find myself.
Well, there you go. 3 breaths. And you found yourself. That's
Yeah.
better. Thank you, Trina.
Thank you.
You absolute star.
And you. Take
Bless you.
care.
All the best.
Bye.